So how was the mind work? The exercises that I gave for the week? How did that go?
Well, not bad,
Yeah?
but we can improve it still.
But so tell me what you did. Tell me about your progress, because progress is key.
Well, me, I discussed with my wife a lot of things. It's true.
Yes.
And even I told her you should join us here one time.
Yes.
Change your mindset.
Yes, yes, yes. And?
And I shared with her what we had spoke here. And a lot of things, it worked after I convinced her, like for little things, how we can improve ourselves to improve, my work.
Yeah.
And really it worked, like in certain ways it worked.
Yeah.
I can talk about, everybody know my story about the dog. I was
Snowy.
always late.
How snowy?
I was coming always late because of the dog.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to pursue nothing. I
Yeah.
told her, if you want me to make more money, if you want me to work more, and to able to bring more money to the house, you have to walk the dog in the morning. I have to come work.
If you want Gucci, you need to walk the dog.
I told her 1 + 1 = 2. Like I can do everything, and you keep saying no, and we're gonna keep the dog. Stop. This subject is over. We're not gonna bring the dog.
Is that really how you handled it? Is that really how you handled it?
Tough guy.
You wanted this.
No, but I went.
Should we run this?
I went out and I said, we can give more time the weekend together. And we went out on Sunday all day, up north, Santander, walking, eating, and family time. I said, I work more and I come more early at work. I can maybe be earlier at night. And we can have more time the weekend. I'll make one day for us.
See, that's how he made it happen.
Yeah.
That's how he made it happen.
Yeah.
And so that's amazing progress.
Yes. And really, all this week, boom, 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 I'm coming
8, 9
tonight.
o'clock. 9
That's amazing, amazing progress, because you know what? That's all we can ask for, right?
Yeah.
That's all we can ask for is progress.
What's really affecting me, I'm not being able to
Why? Why?
because it was refusing,
Yeah, but why was it affecting you?
coming late, coming at work at 11 o'clock, sometimes at noon. They don't have ma journée parties
So why was it affecting you?
because we're not having the conversation to get to where we're gonna go.
Because it really affected your life.
Yeah.
It was affecting two limbs, the money limb and the
Yeah.
love limb.
Yes.
And now you can't walk properly. You can't do what you need to do properly. So it's going to affect you. There's some sort of emotional.
I'm stressed at work because it's so much fun. J'arrive à midi, 11 c'est fini.
Yeah.
How are we gonna handle it?
And you're a morning guy.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And those are the most impactful hours for you. So you felt like you were letting the whole day go.
Yeah.
Who else did progress this week? That's amazing.
Thank you. And honestly, your subject helped me a lot to talk to Sandy when we spoke last week.
Thank you.
Because after that, I went to Sandy, boom, boom, boom.
Did you really do boom, 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 or you used
No.
more of a consultative,
No.
asking questions?
I didn't go to too many questions, but I sit with her. So I told her, listen, this is how it was today, my day. And I learned a lot of things, and I would like to share these things with you. And
There you go.
And really, I would like to come one day to participate, just to listen how it can change your mindset. And I started.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
That's great progress for a week.
Yeah.
What about you? You want to say something?
Yeah, so I mean, with the 2 questions we're supposed to work on was, what does the future me want to be doing right now, right? So
Everybody always picks up. I always give 6, 7 out, and I always love to see which ones people come back with. I always do, and
Okay.
everybody comes out with something different. So what were yours?
Okay, so I was thinking, so obviously in the future, I was thinking where I want to be and what I have to be doing right now. So I started coming to the office earlier than I was, right? I was coming when you saw me early today, yesterday, so
I did.
good, it was progress. I spent,
Good.
you texted me this morning like 7 days ago, and you're right to the office, which I like, because I do need
That
accountability. I really do, honestly, because I need that push in the morning just to leave the house and come here when I can just be working, from my house. Like, I look at my home office and I'm just like, no, I'm gonna leave because I'm more productive here. So I fixed up my schedule, so I'm leaving the house earlier to come. I still need to improve on it to come, earlier and be able to go to the gym in the morning, because that's very tough, but I need to do it. And second was to visually map out where you want to be and what you will do to do that.
Okay.
Which is again, work on my schedule. I bought a vision board, so I haven't worked on it yet, but I bought it with the pins, with the cute color pins, so I can make it.
Yeah,
One for my fiance too, because he wants to make like a vision board too, like in the near future, not talking about like here next, like, no, here next end of the year kind of thing. So I can make sure I do attain the goals and the vision.
you mean from now to June 1st, you mean?
June first, no, till the end of the year.
So you are gonna get it done before June 1st, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
All together.
Right? So you have at least 6 months to
Yeah.
be able to put, I mean, it can go into next year. The idea is for you to get into the habit of creating and attaining your goals in short periods of time.
Yeah, so I feel like if I don't put something reachable in the near future, it's gonna be like, you know what I mean? It's not gonna feel like I'm gonna work so hard for it, because I feel like it's maybe a goal in the next 2 or 3 years. But it's something really in the next couple
Now.
of months, like right
It's a now.
Yeah,
So
I
if you
can
get
see
it
you
done
know?
and that you see it and that you can create and find achievable goals that you get done now.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the idea, guys.
Yeah.
Right? It's nice to have vision. It's nice to figure out this and that. But if we don't have attainable and achievable goals for now,
You won't be motivated to continue.
you're not gonna be motivated to continue.
Yeah, because once you achieve it, you're gonna wanna set other goals and bigger goals, and then you wanna like be achieving it is what feels good.
And it
right?
has to be chunkable, right? And so that's what you're putting together, getting your partner to also understand your vision and what you want to be able to account for, what you want to be able to create is super important.
Yeah.
So you got him to buy in on that.
Yeah, he has one too now, they're both empty, but we're gonna pull it up, we wanna work on it together and see like what our goals are like together, and then our work wise, like his work wise and mine.
What about you, Mike?
So I used the get up, do it method that we're talking about. I went to the gym every single day of the week. I've been eating healthy. Granted, it was week Easter, so we had a lot of lamb, pita bread and stuff like that, but whatever, special occasion. So my motivated track, honestly, just rocking through it.
Is there anything of the questions in which we spoke about last week that you had the ability to apply this week?
We did have the conversation with my wife as well for more, support and push around the house and try and, help my day to day. And, we also came up with a plan where on Sunday, we're gonna sit down for an hour and we're gonna schedule our whole week together. Right, so this way
You're aligned.
we're aligned and she knows and doesn't have to ask what's going on today, what's going on there. She has access to my schedule now, so if she knows that I'm in her training, she's not gonna be texting or calling, and she's gonna know when to call, when to text, when to whatever, organize date night or whatever it is,
That's huge,
That's very good.
right? It's a little piece of the puzzle that changes everything daily.
Yeah, no, it does, because like, look, we have to sit down and talk about Greece because we're going to Greece with friends in the summer. So she went on the schedule, we picked the schedule, she goes, babe, I see Wednesday night at 7 PM, you have nothing, 8 PM. Do you mind if the girls come over and David, we can sit down and we can discuss a bit? I see it's open on your schedule, will you be home at that time? Yeah, I will, perfect, put it in.
Amazing.
So it,
Great progress.
we could fill up my gaps and we could work on
That's great.
myself, which she already has a set schedule for work, right?
What about you guys online? Anybody that wants to share some of the work that they've done? You just turn on your mic. Anybody?
I gave myself a challenge,
Tell me your challenge. Tell us.
75 hard,
75?
hard.
Okay, how did that go?
I started it yesterday.
Okay,
It's brutal.
really? Tell us about it. Why?
So no alcohol for 75 days.
Okay,
You have to drink a gallon of water. You have to read 10 pages a day, which I don't have a problem with. So I'm reading Think and Grow Rich for the 8th time.
yeah,
You have to exercise inside 45 minutes and exercise outside 45 minutes.
okay,
And you have to take a picture of your progress every day.
Alright. No what?
No alcohol,
And that is to build mental toughness.
and that is to build mental toughness.
I need to build my mental toughness.
So now you're day what?
2.
2, and you have to do it for 75 days?
Yeah, and if you fail, if you miss 1, you start again from day 1.
Shit.
Okay,
So this is day 2.
well, good luck with that then, Bianca.
Thank you.
A lot of luck.
That's a big one, girl.
My friend lost 35 pounds. I said, well, no, I can't afford to lose 35 pounds. It's gonna disappear.
Disappear.
Oh, and you have to eat healthy. No sugar. No junk food, no
Don't think
nothing.
it's a little intense though in one shot, boom, boom, pop.
I know, that's why you keep starting over.
Yeah, no shit. And then my
It's
question
good,
is,
it's good. Gonna get me in shape. Let's do it.
It's a lot of work.
so there's 1 or 2 ways that this can go, Bianca. There's one that you're going to achieve your 75 days, and you are going to be so proud of yourself. And then there's the other thing that you have set yourself a challenge that perhaps you're not ready to surmount today, or your lifestyle is not ready to surmount today.
It's
Now,
okay.
if option 2 happens, how will that make you feel?
It's practice.
It's practice. So as long
Practice makes perfect.
as you just take it as practice, I am just going to take a shot at this bat. I am going to try to, hit a home run on this one. And if I don't on the first time, it doesn't matter.
No,
Right?
It's like building a muscle, right?
It's like building, as long as that's the attitude behind it, because the attitude behind it could be, I can't believe I didn't do it. I'm such a failure.
No,
I'm not worthy of such a challenge. I don't have the stamina to get there. And that can end up being the self-talk.
yeah. But it's okay, because I'm giving myself a couple of days to adjust. So, I'm like, this is day 2. So if I start over again on day 1 on Monday, I'm not going to be devastated.
Okay, so let me know so that I don't plan a 5 set within that time, okay?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. You could plan a 5 set. I got a mental toughness. You got to challenge it.
Go, girl.
Challenge.
Now, nobody's actually mentioned one of the challenges I put out there, which was, do you catch yourself complaining, making excuses, or blaming? How many of you checked your self-talk? And how many of you checked the verbal exterior talk to do an audit of that?
Believe it's not. I really don't do that.
You see, everybody catches something different.
I remember you said that, but I didn't work on it.
Yeah,
I had other point, like more important for me to, achieve. But I remember the subject.
What was it again? Myself blaming, making excuses?
Catch yourself blaming, making excuses.
Like if you
Blaming,
like something.
excuses or
Okay.
blaming. I didn't
That's
do
right.
this because it was Mike's fault.
Yeah.
I didn't do it because I didn't feel like it.
I made it very, like I said, I can't be wasting any more time on these UFCs. I will finish all of them in 1 week. I need to finish all of them in 1 week. I finished them in 3 days because of that.
Hey, how easy is it to blame the fact that you have to do UFCs, that you are not being productive? How easy is it to complain about them if you don't get them done?
Yeah, no, I did one in the afternoon and one at night by the sofa watching TV every night, 9 p.m. All you sleep on it, continue in the next.
Okay,
day.
we will be editing that part, please,
Yes.
that he's falling asleep doing his UFCs.
Yes,
Thank you.
Oh, yes.
Oh, shit.
What do you do?
Yeah, what do you say? You listen to every single word. You answer the question.
Exactly. So who's gonna look at that this week? Who's gonna look at their mental talk? Do you give yourself excuses? Do you blame, or do you complain about some of the things that you need to do, or some of the things that you want to achieve, and put barriers in front of yourself and blame exterior world? So that's going to be one of the challenges that I give you this week. Last week, we spoke about people's comfort levels. Did anybody notice their comfort level when it came to health, money, and character, family style, relationship style? Because Bianca has taken over this challenge for a reason. She's taken over that challenge because she's like, I want to change that thermometer. I want to change that comfort level in these 4 or 5 areas of life. I mean, heck, I'm going to do it all in one shot. I'm going to mix them all together, bubble them together, and I'm just going to do it, right? That's what she's trying to do. She's trying to up-level that level of comfort that she has with these 4 or 5 areas of life. Mhm. Now, which area of life are you most comfortable in and are ready to give yourself a challenge? I say pick one.
Think financial?
Sure, write it down. What are you gonna say? One. I mean, after this class, you can choose to change it again if you'd like. But the idea here is to really understand and have focus and understand that you have a comfort zone. Which one will you decide that you want to up level? Now that you've picked them all, then I have a question for you. How many times have you picked that one before? How many times have you picked that one before? And if you've picked it before, please write down that number. Now, how many times, now that you know that you've picked it before, how many times has somebody come to you? Maybe somebody who's more fit than you, maybe somebody who has a better financial life than you, maybe somebody who's, better at whatever you want to become better at, and given you some sort of golden nugget, a golden nugget of information, and you said, I know that. I know that. How many times has that happened?
Actually, I'm gonna share a story.
Tell us.
I went to Parker was 2 days ago. I went to get coffee at Nespresso, and there's Zara right next to me. Okay, so I was like literally fighting myself in my head. I'm like, do not walk in, because I know every time I walk in, I at least walk out with one thing. And I was on the phone with my sister-in-law, and she's like, Jess, you better not go to Zara. Like, you better not. I went in. Okay, I didn't buy anything, but I literally all the way went to even try on something. That's how like crazy I am in my head when it comes to like shopping. Like I was like, no, I'm just gonna try it. And obviously if you like it, you're gonna buy it. And I just made an excuse about something I didn't like about it. And I didn't buy it. And I just walked out. I was so proud of myself for not spending $1 in there.
Yeah.
And just walking out of Corfu with just coffee. It was a big win, it really was. But also during closing at 6, I was like, I didn't have much time to shop, but still.
Take it as a win.
Yeah, that was happening. But
So-
still, anything-
So now the question is, when is the last time somebody gave you a golden nugget of information that does better than you and you did, I know, and you didn't really do anything about it. You just went on your happy way and merry way and did things like before, but you said, I know. Who does that? If you guys online just want to put a little hand so I can have a little idea of how many people, but how many of you use that? I know. Right?
I'll do it, I'm sure.
Catch yourself doing that this week. Right? Because the I knows is what? What is that? What is the I knows?
Your ego?
Ooh.
Because you're like, you don't want to be told by someone that you're something you already know you
Don't
need to stop
accept
doing. You don't want to accept.
outside idea to tell you like you can do better or something.
Like you already
like-
know you
yeah.
can do better what you need to do. But
Yeah.
if someone tells you, it's like, okay, don't tell me what I already need. I already know I need to do it. I just don't feel like doing it.
So ego,
Yeah.
Right? The other one is like, oh, you're scarring me a little bit.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Right? Does it ever happen when you don't say it out loud and you just keep going in your head? I know. No, I should. No, I should. Right? That is an indicator, guys, That indicator is huge. You need to listen to that voice. Because I know is telling you something. What do you guys think it's telling you?
The right thing to do.
What's I know means you have a gain of, which means it's knowledge, right? It's knowledge. But knowledge does not really exist if you don't do. We can learn until tomorrow morning. You can come to these classes till my face turns blue, but if you don't apply one little thing every week, it's it's the I do, and it could be a little progress, right? Just a little progress. Now, how do we deal or tame that ego when the ego says, I know? What if you did something else? Like listen. Instead of say, I know, because I know is you're blocking. I'm blocking. But what if you said, okay, I'm listening. And then you ask the question, how so? How are you changing what's happening in the conversation? The curiosity piece.
You're getting a point of view and maybe the possibility of being able to make a change with whatever they're suggesting.
Holy shit, how awesome is that?
It is, okay.
And then what if they gave you a golden nugget that you can actually apply? Or give yourself a golden nugget that you can apply instead of doing the blocking. I know. If somebody says, I know, or you say to yourself, I know, and you can't tell yourself in your brain saying, I do, then stop with the ego and start saying, I'm listening. Okay, how so? Imagine if you became more curious.
Much more beneficial for us. I mean, for us to change something at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Imagine that.
You see, I know it already like
Blocking.
I know you block it, so you're not ready to change it yet for whatever reason,
But what if it wasn't about change? What if it was just about listening about somebody else's point of view? What if they would enlighten you with something that you never thought of before? And then you're leaving with that golden nugget. So beware of I know. Right? Now I want you to think of somebody that you know that says, I know. Think in your mind, who do you know that says, I know. You guys have that person in your mind? Okay. Why do you think that person does it? Why do you think that person does it?
they're comfortable where they are.
They set up their goals, they set up they're more comfortable.
It's not only they're comfortable, I think they don't accept to find them in one way. Second, they don't accept to be told by the others. And third, even if they know it, they won't like to admit it, to not say you know better than them.
So look at all the 3 pieces of ego he just mentioned, because that's all ego, right? You can't say you're better than me. I want to say I know. I didn't learn anything from you. Ego.
You want it to come from you instead of from someone else. And I think that's just human nature, you know what I mean?
Right.
A reflex.
So now, when somebody says, I know, you say, really? Tell me. How so? I want to know what you know. And all of a sudden, you're starting to understand that person's map of the world. Right? So how can you use that in how you work, in the work that you do? How can you use that? In the work that you do, how can you do that? How many times do you go see a customer and a customer says,
I know.
I know. Really? What do you know? How so? All of a sudden you got them talking. Now you understand what their map of the world is. You start understanding why they believe it's worth X, Y, Z, A, B, C, because they
No.
know. Now, can you guys think of how you can use that? I mean, not just with your significant others, your wives and your husbands and your... How can you use that in your language?
Like work-wise? like we're talking, let's say when you go to see a client, you're like, you know how much your house is worth? Yeah, I know it's worth 600, you're like, oh, okay, instead of saying, yeah, exactly, and you're like, well, how soon? They can be like, well, I know because I checked like where my tax and my neighbors sold, so you'll know that they check stuff, they're not just like asleep, they're like, they know how to check stuff and
Uh-huh.
they're, you know what I mean?
And at the same time, you gauge
understand
them
really
to
quick,
sit down at the dining room table so you can sit down and have a conversation. I want to know more.
'cause you're not
How
very
so?
good.
Exactly. How did you come up with that price? Mhm. That is a very powerful tool of communication. I don't know how we got derailed to this, but
It's a big.
it's a big aha moment. Tell me something. What else could you find out? There's one last point. One last point. When somebody says, I know, and doesn't know how to justify their I know, you understand their limited mindset. Right? Growth mindset is not binary. It's not like I'm growth mindset, so I think like that in every category of my life. That's not the way it works.
No.
It works very selectively. In some areas of life, you may be limited in your thinking, in some, you may not. And in that case, whichever one it is, do you decide consciously or you don't? Do you?
Fine, it's very.
When you ask them the question, you get to see. How so? You find out, do they think in a growth mindset way or in a limited way? And if they're limited, how limited are they limiting your possibilities? Right?
Mhm.
So I know is very powerful. All right, so let's go back to financial comfort. Financial comfort. What did we figure out about our finances? What did we find out? Because the common trend, you know, in real estate is make, spend.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
In some cases, spend before you make.
And then what happens?
That.
The whole thing.
Right. Not DEBT, DEAD, dead. Right? What happens then? You're in desperate mode. What happens
Right.
when you get to a client and you're desperate? What happens?
Oh, they feel it.
They feel it.
No, it's so.
Humans feel it right away. How many of you know that when you go in and you're desperate for it, your client feels it? Put a little hand up.
Most contracts I've gotten is because I set it out on the table that it doesn't matter if I don't get this listing. I'm okay with not getting this listing because I'm not here to just get it and leave it on the market. I'm comfortable with getting this listing on my price to get it sold.
Yeah.
If we don't get this listing at my price or somewhere around the vicinity of my price, it's not worth it for us. So let's just move on. And that's when people like come down to the understanding that, oh, this guy's not here to screw me. He's actually just trying to get my house sold.
So that's your first defense, right? Everybody thinks a realtor's out to screw them, right?
Yeah.
Everybody, that's your first objection, right? Before you even said a word.
I talked on my listing presentation last week. She thought her house was worth 560.
She thought her house was $5 million.
It was worth
Everybody thinks their house is $5 million.
500. It's too far to get that signature today. I know for a fact. Way too far to get that signature. I'm not gonna waste any more time.
Mhm.
But she appreciated the fact that I told her the honesty and so messaging that when they do make the decision, go with me because of my honesty.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a thing.
It's good.
That's clear.
You don't just agree with them when they're right, that makes no sense. Yeah. Makes no sense at the end of the day for us to like take a big waste of
It's
time. Like, and they're gonna be like, oh, they blame you for not selling it, obviously, they're not gonna blame you for it.
exceptional.
Did you just say blame?
Yeah, cause they are, it's the truth. Oh,
It's
that
100%
broker didn't sell,
blame.
you know?
100% blame. So what do you do when somebody blames you for something? Because she's the one who said blame, so we're gonna play with blame.
Yeah, shouldn't-
Facts on the table.
Facts on the table. How many people are comfortable with that type of confrontation?
I know. I
Mhm.
mean, if
You mean
I'm
giving
great,
them?
I don't care if we give them like whatever, you know, that
How will they receive it?
How they receive, well, obviously, I'll say it in a quote, and I'm not trying to be better than them, I'm just like trying to kind of
Informative.
inform, not even educate, because people don't like to be educated, like inform.
Yeah.
And then, you know what I mean, and that's it, like show them the facts that I know are right.
Mhm.
If they, let's say in that case, I'll have phone with a broker, their broker puts it for 515, they're not gonna blame you, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, it was worth more, 500, that broker was right. No, I'm not gonna blame him. You know what I mean? So it's facts that they see.
Mhm.
No, but I wouldn't get like mad and be like, well, I'm not, because you're not gonna waste my day trying to show you the facts. I wouldn't be comfortable with showing, if I know, you know, I have real facts.
That's it. So you're disarming the situation with fact and not with emotion, right?
Yeah.
Because if they think, the first thing people do is that when they walk in, he thinks everyone's out to screw him. So I'm gonna be attached by that, and I'm gonna be emotionally walk in as if he's not gonna go and screw me. But if you walk in with fact, all of a sudden you're changing the vibes around. So we're talking about money. One, you're gonna make money and you're gonna go out and spend it. Two, you might make the money and
Invest it.
Save it and invest it.
save it investment.
Mhm.
Some will make money 6 months and then go to Greece for another 6 months, right?
Right.
No, but what's
Yeah,
important
it's
here is to understand what is yours. What is yours? Each one of you is different, and everybody needs to identify where it is so that you can move forward. Well, you blew it because everybody goes back. Remember last week, we ended it with the roots,
Mhm.
right? We said we all have leaves that are derived from the roots. Question is, where are the roots? When I ask you that question, were you taught that rich are evil?
And what, sorry?
Rich people are evil. They just take. How many of you were taught, well, if you have more than you need, you are,
Greedy.
right?
Mhm.
You need to understand what were the roots of those, because you'll keep going back to those. And those will come out with things like, when I make money, I have to spend it.
Mhm.
When I make money, I have to save it. Or I have to protect it in this little goose egg. Right? Understand which is your money language. And maybe sometimes your partner's money language. Because sometimes they don't meet. And what happens when that happens? What happens when your money language doesn't talk the same?
Problems.
Fighting. Lots of fighting. Do you know that 97% of most relationships don't work because what?
Finance.
Finance.
Wow, that's a big one.
That's a huge number. It's a huge number. So how is your partner and how are you different in finance? Have you all figured it out?
Yeah.
You guys online? Everybody figured that out?
I'm single.
No, I know. You don't need to figure out nobody.
Exactly. Figure out myself.
So the reality is that 80% of people, 80% of people, 80% of people never reach their full potential.
How many?
80.
80.
80%
Potential financial.
full potential finance and won't reach financial freedom. 80%,
Wow.
right? So depending on who you are, you may be driven by moving away strategy or moving towards strategy. So I'm going to give you both facts. 80% of people never reach that financial freedom. That's if you're a move away. And only 20% reach that financial freedom. Now, how you define financial freedom is yours to discover. And what that actually means. If you're going to go to a Zara every single day and you're going to spend $500, well, that's a different financial freedom than if, you're going to decide to,
Travel or buy whatever.
or you're going to decide you're going to live a very simple life. That's financial freedom for them, right? So how you define that is yours. Now I ask you, have you ever defined financial freedom? Have you defined what that means for you? If you're there right now in your life, maybe you want to look at what that looks like. This week, I'm gonna figure out what financial freedom means for me. What does that mean for me? And who do I want to be part of? Do I want to be part of that 20%? Or am I okay if I'm gonna fall into the bucket of the 80? You can make that decision right now and stick to it. So have you guys ever seen the rich man who acts like a poor man?
Yeah.
Why? Why do they do that?
You don't want people knowing their money.
Maybe. What else? The rich man that acts like a poor man.
He doesn't want he doesn't want to see people looking at him differently.
So his self-perception is not changed, the exterior self-perception. What else? Doesn't know how. Doesn't know how. Every time he comes to live like a rich man, he feels uncomfortable.
Why?
Because he doesn't know how. Because the root,
Didn't show
the seed, never showed him
that you can.
how you can emotionally enjoy riches.
Yeah, but that becomes a disease at 1.2. If you're stingy and you're a multi-millionaire, you're walking around with ripped shoes and pants that are too big on you because you lost weight and you're doubling your belt. At one point, it's, me, it's very important the way I look, the way I dress, and the way I.
What I'm telling you is I'm asking you, what is the seed and what is the root? Because you may become a rich man and act like a poor one. You may go to a fancy restaurant and not know how to use your fork and knife, right? So as you grow, you change, but your roots don't. You must do that consciously. Look at Robin Williams. He made millions and billions and a ridiculous amount of money, did he not? But he was never felt fulfilled in any happiness, so he ended his life. What's sadder than that?
He made everybody laugh, but couldn't laugh.
But he couldn't laugh, right? So why are we doing all of this? It's for some sort of self-fulfillment, some sort of instant happiness that you keep for a very long period of time. My question is, are you really feeding those roots with your financial freedom? That's the cookie, guys. That's the cookie. I'm asking you that question. And perhaps you want to be able to ponder on that this week. Ponder on the fulfillment, your self-fulfillment of what your financial freedom would actually really give you. Will you live like a poor man if you are rich? Will you feel happy once you get to where you're planning to get to? And happiness is not a destination. It's a journey. You're supposed to be happy the whole friggin' way. Right? You're supposed to be happy the whole friggin' way. So what do those roots tell you? And those roots, you tell me, okay, yes, how do I figure out what those roots are? Those roots are the thoughts. Understanding what some of the thoughts you think of, some of your automatics. What are your automatics, your go-tos? Your go-tos that you think about all the time will tell you, identify what those roots are. And then you decide, do I want that root or I don't? Must I take it out? It's grown into a weed. That root has grown into a weed that spread itself through my beautiful roots. Know how to weed that out with the power of delete. Like we discussed about. So who wants to share? Anybody wants to share about any type of roots, any type of comments, any type of understanding, or any type of work you're willing to do this week on that?
I didn't decide yet.
Okay.
You want to speak about it, or you didn't decide
No.
what it is? Because I decided that I don't want to speak about it.
That's fair. Anybody?
Kind of fun. Like,
Processing, people online?
it's a big one.
Have you just,
I can share with you something, but it's not only this, it's global things. Like me, I'm someone who likes to invest. I make money, at the end of the year, I invest. And since I started like really full-time real estate, I'm investing every year. And on the other side, my wife, she's a big spender and she's always in debt. And we keep having subject, and I always keep closing her credit card to move on and okay, change. And she keeps filling her credit card. Last conversation it was, I'm sorry, you have to help yourself. Like I've been always helping you, I've been always telling you, you have to just close your credit card because you work, I work, you make money, I make money, but you're not spend your money. I put her name with me in every investment I do, and she doesn't put any penny, and she end up every year filling your visa. If I do this time, sorry, the last purchase I did, I'm not gonna put your name in it, you have to put some money on the side. And I had to, tell her, you have to think about also, not only spending for the visa, but you have to think for future, like do something like to, keep something on the side. I know it doesn't make a lot to put aside, but just don't overspend. It's going to be a subject to discuss about, things in how we're going to do, like what are you going to do?
so is it? So there's a code, there's like 5 things that are, like, I want to say it the same thing, but, you realize that it's a balance, right, of both of you, which is really beautiful, right? It's like you guys are like both at the end of things, and it's like you're compromising for the fact, okay, I'm gonna save everything because she's spending so much. And she's thinking, well, he's saving so much, so I can spend.
But it's too extreme.
Right, but you can find, together you're a balance, but individually you are not. So what if you made that conversation into consciousness and just say, hey, listen, you're my partner. If you would be more conscious about your spending, I would be more conscious about my investing, and maybe together we can then reach a common goal instead of the no more spending for you.
It's not about spending, it's about be balanced.
Yeah.
Be balanced. And it's not talking spending like really thousands and thousands on visa, and after put on much line of credit, and after occupying George. And that's every year. And that's not like accident. It's every year, filling, and then the year $20,000 on a visa. It's not, and she makes salary. And it's not a small amount.
So with the fact that I told you that 97% of couples break up because of things like money issues,
That's stressful.
what can you,
It's not stressing.
it's not new. What can you bring forth as suggestions to not have that?
Not years. That's every year we talk about this, and I do something.
It's that time of the year, so done.
And then
It's like tax season.
What's going on?
Yeah, so maybe try telling you what she needs to do, say like different ways that she
I
needs
took
to
her
done.
visa away. I put the site.
It is safe. Change the code.
You know what's funny? I considered the same thing on my freaking card with Alexa, but I got it back, so that doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
It doesn't, I promise you, because I asked for it so many times, I tried to scoop the wallet, and I'm like, I can't, there's no way, so that's not gonna work, but if you sit and be like, okay, let's put our numbers here, and let's see what we wanna do with our money in the future for us and your kids. And maybe if she sees, what you can do with the amount of money in a couple of years, and like, wow, we can go on a full vacation, like, she's gonna like save towards it, because there'll be a goal that's like benefiting her a lot also.
She doesn't think for the future. She thinks she wants to do every day.
So the near
When she
future.
goes out to spend money.
So my question to you is, when you present this to her, do you give blame? Excuses?
No, it's just every year we sit.
I know,
and
it's the
every
same
year
thing.
We talk.
And every year it's the same result.
Every year, worse, let's say worse. What I mean, more she's on the other side. Before it wasn't $20,000. Honestly, today, last week we were talking and, okay, so how much we have your visa this time? And she's put it on a line of credit and started to pay, and she's paying interest. And she's paying interest and it goes high. And, last week, so, 80,000, and we had just transferred on the line of the house, another 10,000 a few months ago. Like, it's a big issue we have in that, but I don't know how to help it. And
So there's two ways. There's two ways you can do it. You have move away strategy and you have move towards strategy. So what you've tried in the past, and that's what she was trying to say, is you've done the move away. Ça marche pas. You've tried the move away. If you do it again, there's gonna be consequences, and then there's no consequences, and she does it again, right? Obviously, take it from an expert. She's telling you, you have a consultant right here. She'll tell you.
Does she keep asking you for your card?
my visa, or like,
Your card.
I'm giving her my visa now always because stop putting in your visa.
So now he can manage the
Because when I
situation.
give her, it's
I can
just.
see what's pending.
Yeah,
Well, what had, but my fiance and then took my debit card, then my visa at that time, and he gave me his credit card, so everything I spend, I think about it like 10 times, because he's gonna see it on his fucking credit card. So like, that I would not spend more than this groceries and gas, and like, you know what I mean, there's no, obviously no Zara, that cash.
Obviously, there's no Zara. Guys, there's always a move away and a move forward.
Cash, somehow. Give me cash, please.
Guys, there's always a move away and a move towards.
like, put your card aside and keep cash with you, when you know.
When the cash runs out, you come see me.
You know what? I'll tell you why that's a good exercise.
Help
Because
me, please.
when you have cash, you realize how
You
much
see
you
it
spend.
going away, it's like
I
physical.
told her that. I
Depends.
told her, you see what you have in your hands.
It
You
depends,
have hands.
it depends who, it depends how you perceive cash.
Tell me.
I always had cash on me because of the calls, because of tips. I always had 400, 500, 600 coming in weekly of cash, and I would only spend my cash. And all my paychecks were going in with debit, and I would never ever touch it. With just the account would grow. Whatever I had cash, I could spend. If I'd spend, that's it. No gas, no nothing. You spent your cash. That's savings.
You
That's
should
how.
That's
think about
perfect.
it like
That's
that.
called the budget.
That's how I was working in the past.
Yeah.
Now that I stopped the reception halls, I have no more cash.
Hmm.
Very rare. Well, actually, no, it's not that rare. I just go to the bank and I pull out 1,000 and I say, okay, this is what you got. for the
Okay,
month.
so what's up with that?
What's better?
And you put yourself a budget.
But
You
that's
get yourself
great.
an amount, so
But when
can
you have
see
it coming out of a card,
You don't see the amount.
no, cha-ching, you're spending, you're not realizing how much,
It never goes.
right? So if you are a spender, perhaps you want to take out some cash. Perhaps you want to move all of your money from one account to the other and only give yourself that budget.
Yeah, so try that way, because you guys haven't tried that way.
You have to try
That's gonna
something.
work.
We're at a point, I think we need to try something, George.
Where did she go? Not grocery.
No, but I think house, grocery.
She's been buying
anything.
groceries, you?
I
So
buy
that
grocery.
must be-
No, you know, it's only on clothes and on spending outside. Clothes a lot, decoration for the house a lot, and
And they keep-
flooring, and keep repeating. Like,
Makes
she
sense.
gets fed up right away, she throw things and she buy new things for the house, for the kids.
I told her last week, I said, no, that doesn't make
It's,
sense.
it's,
You're dating the Amazon bag. That's what's happening. You have a
Instead of the
relationship
milk
with
bag.
it's like, it's
You have a relation with the Amazon. He's here every day. Every single day. You making coffee?
Wait a second.
What's going on?
Wait a second, you only have one perolator? You don't have perolator, FedEx, CAD?
Amazon Prime
Yeah,
is the only guy that's on the house longer than I am. He comes more often.
are you guys
than I
serious?
do. You want to go 3 times. Leave the house once and come back home once. He comes 2, 3 times in a day.
You have cameras,
Absolutely.
good stuff.
That's how I know he's always there.
Ding
He
dong.
calls me by name. Hi, Mike. Here for Melody.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Package. Package.
That's freaking,
Okay, guys, so question for you. What will you work on this weekend? Do you have any questions about it? I want you to,
Amazon account.
no. Oh, my God. So much easier on Amazon, though. I go to the pharmacy, everybody's like, they put stuff all in the wrong places. You have to call somebody to find out where things are. I could have just gone on Amazon. It could have been done in 5 minutes. Huh?
I in the private session with.
Yeah,
Okay, he needs real help. So what will you work on this week? Give yourself that one target. What will that be?
Right, I'm gonna work on my vision board and start putting things so I can see, and then it's gonna like push me more, you know what I mean? And work and the load of work and saving, you know what I mean, for those goals. I want to reach, I wanna achieve them, so.
Okay. Have you guys decided? Everybody has them, everybody online. I'm watching you all. Everybody, except for you, Bianca, because I'd like to know how you're doing in a couple of days.
Say that again?
I said, I told everybody to figure out what they want to work out based on the 5 questions in which I've given in this class. I said, except for you, Bianca, because you'll have your own challenges.
I took them down, don't worry.
All right, guys, if you don't have any other questions,
Let's end the session.
Thank you.
Go on.
thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.